Okay, this time we are going to look at the options in the back of the book on the California Trail. So at the same time that there was a trail to Oregon, when you got around the Utah area, a lot of folks took the option of going to California instead of Oregon. So let's see how some of those folks fared. On the California Trail, there's a fortune out there, says the old man with a toothless smile. You smile back, happy to have someone to talk to. It's the summer of 1849, and you're on your way to California. There's gold there. Like thousands of others, you're hoping to get your share. The old man, Samuel, rides with you as you follow the Oregon Trail. You're arriving at Fort Hall in eastern Oregon country. It's near the place where the California Trail splits off from the Oregon Trail. Samuel is riding a horse with only a few saddlebags for supplies. You are driving a team of oxen pulling a covered wagon. The wagon is stocked with supplies from food and water to mining equipment. Oxen are slow but reliable. Trade those beasts for a horse at Fort Hall, suggests Samuel. The gold won't last forever. We'll be there in a month by horseback. Take you 3 times that long with this wagon. It's tempting. You've driven this team of oxen all the way from your family farm in Kansas. They've done well so far, following the Oregon Trail. They've taken you through storms, floods, across rivers, and even around a herd of buffalo. But they'll be even slower in mountain country. I'm not sure, you say. Taking the wagon is slower, but it's also safer. Nobody ever got rich by playing it safe. I'm riding ahead to the fort. I'll be there in a few days. You find me if you want to ride together. You munch on some dried apples and carrots as you watch him ride off. You carefully steer your wagon along deep ruts in the trail. Many have come this way before, and the ground is scarred with their tracks. Okay, the first choice is to continue with your wagon and supplies. So we'll see how that comes out. You'd love to be in California sooner, but you feel safe in the wagon. You're not ready to give that up. When you finally arrive at Fort Hall, you tell Samuel goodbye. Maybe I'll see you in California, you say. He laughs and assures you that by the time you reach California, he'll already be rich. You set out from Fort Hall along the Snake River. The Oregon and California trails split where the Raft River meets the Snake. The immigrants headed for Oregon continue west, while you turn south. The trail takes you deep into the Rocky Mountains. The going is slow. As you approach a mountain pass, the trail narrows to barely more than the width of your wagon. Rain falls as you approach a steep, narrow section of the trail. You're not sure your oxen can handle the slick rock, but it's cold, wet, and the air is thin. Stopping here isn't going to make you or your animals any stronger, and you don't know how long the rain will last. To continue up the slick trail, turn to page 83. So that's what the option we're going to take this time. You can't stop every time a little rain falls. The rain could continue for days. The oxen are warm and in a rhythm. You'll keep going. You hold your breath as the trail narrows. A sharp drop lies just feet from the trail. One misstep and you'll be dead. But your sturdy oxen are well trained. They plod along, pulling the wagon over the bumpy trail. In a few hours, the worst is over. You made it. With the mountain pass behind you, you're headed back, downhill. There are a few more parts of the trail that make you nervous, but you manage without any trouble. The days pass as you slowly move along the banks of the Humboldt River. You approach the part of the trail known as the 40-mile desert. You've stocked with supplies, including lots of water. That's a good thing because the desert is brutally hot. You try to travel at night when it's cooler and sleep during the day. Near the end of your desert journey, you spot another wagon. A man and woman are waving their arms at you from atop it. They look like fellow immigrants, but you can't be sure. "Hello," you shout as you approach the couple. Thomas and Annie are newly married and headed west to look for gold, but they didn't bring enough water into the desert and their mules died of thirst. Now their wagon is stranded. They're very glad to see you. "We're almost out of water," says Annie. "Can you help us? We don't have much to offer you, but we do have some information on a good spot to pan for gold. We'll be happy to share it with you." Your supplies are stretched thin, and you're not sure about taking on strangers. But this is an adventure, and out here, everyone is a stranger to you. You feel a bit lonely as you ride off. Wait a minute. I'm not sure if I got to the... Okay, yes. You feel a bit lonely as you ride off. What will happen to those poor people stuck in the desert? You made it because you were well prepared. But what if you'd hit some bad luck? You'd sure like someone to stop and help you. You sigh and shrug. What's done is done. You're getting close to your destination. You and your team of oxen just keep plodding westward. You cross the Sierra Nevada. These mountains seem almost small compared to the Rockies. Within a week, you're in California, making your way toward the American River. This is near where James Marshall and John Sutter discovered gold a year and a half ago. You don't know much about panning for gold. All you can do is pick a spot and get started. Like many 49ers, as those rushing to California are called, you spend little time setting up a home. You live out of your wagon and spend your days sifting through river silt, but your efforts are not rewarded. You find a few flakes of gold, but not nearly enough to make a living. One day you decide it's time to call it quits. You came out here to make your fortune. You realize now that you'll be lucky just to find a job somewhere and make a living. Okay? And that is indeed what happened to a lot of people who went out on the California Trail. They thought that they were going to get rich quickly, and they didn't find much. Okay? So let's go back to the beginning of the California Trail now. And the first decision that we had was to continue with the wagon and supplies, or to sell your oxen and travel on horseback. So let's see what happens if he had decided to sell off his oxen and travel by horseback. As you inch along, you make your decision. Samuel might be right. You'll be on the trail for another couple of months at this rate. What if all the good claims are gone? It's time to move. Samuel rides out to meet you as you approach Fort Hall. You're in luck. There's a family on their way to Oregon. Their team of mules has died. They need something to pull their wagon. The family pays you very well for your oxen. You use the money to buy a sturdy mare that you call Daisy. You load up saddlebags with food and supplies, sell your wagon and the rest at a fraction of their true value. Don't you worry, Samuel says. When you strike gold, you won't even remember what they were really worth. And so, the two of you head out together. Just west of the fort, the Oregon Trail and the California Trail split. You turn south, heading deeper into mountain country. Daisy is sure-footed. You and Samuel make good time passing several groups of wagons along the way. You're glad to have the old-timers' company. You climb higher, headed for Granite Pass. You see the City of Rocks, a group of tall rock formations. It's nothing like your home in Kansas. Samuel is an expert hunter, and most nights you roast fresh meat over a fire. You're not a big fan of jackrabbit meat, but with your limited supplies, you can't be fussy. A few days later, you spot a camp ahead. You see a few tents and some horses. Should we stop and say hello? Asked Samuel. It's always nice to see new faces and exchange information, but out here, you never know who you can trust. You might be safer to just keep moving. Okay? So this time they're going to steer clear of the camp. I don't like it, you tell Samuel. There are no wagons. They don't look like emigrants. Let's not risk it. Samuel gives the camp a hard look and nods. You're right. Not everyone out here is friendly. Let's just keep moving. The two of you continue over the mountain country. You cross Granite Pass and make a careful descent. You come to the Humboldt River. You follow it west to the deep Carlin Canyon, where you must ford the Humboldt several times. Then you're facing the toughest part of your trip, the 40-mile desert. There'll be little food and no water after this point for a stretch, Samuel warns. The desert is a graveyard for unprepared emigrants. Your supplies are running low, and you're eager to cross the desert. Samuel suggests camping here for a few days so you and your horses can rest before the long journey. You spend the next day and a half at the headwaters of the Humboldt. You and your horses feel stronger. The next evening, you're ready to start again. Samuel says that many immigrants start the crossing in the evening. It's a good idea. The ride is cool and brisk. Doing this in the afternoon heat would sap the animal's strength much more quickly. Your preparation pays off. It's a long, tiring crossing, but you make it to the Carson River. There you find the precious water that you all need. From there, it's on to your final obstacle. The Sierra Nevada mountain crossing is almost easy compared to your crossing of the Rocky Mountains and the 40-mile desert. We did it, says Samuel as the two of you descend. Now we just need to find a spot, stake our claim, and get rich. You smile at your friend. Well, let's get to it.